Okay, that's it for the pattern families. Now I will demonstrate a simple adaptive family. From the File tab, find New and then Family. From the Templates list, pick Metric, Generic, Model Adaptive. The opening screen looks like a traditional massing environment. Before going any further, save the family. On the project browser, find the Ref level floor plan and use the work plane button to set the horizontal or X-axis as the working view plane. Then go to this view, which in this case is the front view. Then from the ribbon, find the Insert tab and Import CAD. Tick the Current View Only checkbox and open. If this seems similar, well it is. It was the same workflow from the start of the tutorial when we loaded the CAD reference into the host family. Just like before, we are going to use the CAD import as a reference. Zoom in and then select the level marker and copy it up to match the screen. Once set, from the Draw tools, pick Model Line, pick Lines, Draw on Plane, and then pick the roof lines on the CAD import as shown. Once drawn, move up to the options bar and find Offset. Set the offset value to 5000 and notice the Draw tools are still selected. Now click the previously placed model lines. Now we need to close the open ends. Back on the Draw tools, with the model line tool still selected, pick the line tool and then the Draw on Face option. Also make sure the 3D snapping is on, then close the ends as shown. On the right hand end, I need to edit the offset line to create a perpendicular angle when closing the loop. Once that is done, close the loop. Now switch to a 3D view. Select all model lines and convert these to reference lines. By ticking this checkbox. Then from the Draw tools, grab, point and place it on the midpoint of the bottom of the profile as shown. Set the work plane as shown. And then on the work plane, sketch a circle with a 500 mm radius. And create the solid, be sure to select all reference planes to enclose the path. Now from the graphics settings, set the view to wireframe. Select the reference lines again, not the profile, and create form. Select the bottom form and divide the surface. Edit the grid in the properties and repeat this for the top surface. From the Insert tab on the ribbon, find Load Family, find Family 1 and load this into Family 5. Now apply Family 1 as the pattern to each of the divided surfaces. Then reset the graphics settings to hidden line to view the result. To add a web-like structure to the curve section, first go to the front view, which you should still have open. Find the outer reference line and tab to select only the arc. With that selected, click on Divide Path from the ribbon. Set the value to 7. This will add 7 dots along the arc. Then repeat for the lower arc. On the Draw tools, pick Model Line. Draw on face and ensure 3D snapping is on, then zoom into the arc zone. Then by picking alternate points across the top and bottom arcs, create a zigzag line. Select the zigzag line and on the Properties palette, toggle the Make This a Reference Line button. Switch to 3D. Adjust the view orientation to suit and zoom into the zigzag reference. On the Draw tools, pick Point and place a point on the bottom line of the zigzag reference. Then, you guessed it, set the work plane for that point. On this plane, make sure Draw on Plane is selected in the ribbon. Sketch a circle as shown, then select the profile and path and create the solid. Now we need to get rid of that flat solid between each of the arcs. To do this, change the view back to wireframe. Find the divided paths and delete each of them. While here, pick the zigzag solid and make it transparent by picking the X-ray function on the ribbon. Find the circular profile and edit this to something thicker like 175 mm. Then pick the zigzag solid again to deactivate the X-ray function. With that, the structure is completed, but it is not yet adaptive. To make it adaptive, select the point created when we first closed the model line loops and from the ribbon, pick Make Adaptive. You should now see a little number 1 just above that point. We need to create 2 more adaptive points. This process will make more sense soon, so hang in there. From the Draw tools, pick Point and from the Options bar define the plane as Center Front Back, then place the point as shown. Once placed, select Make Adaptive and this point should become point 2. Zoom in to the end of this truss and place a third point as shown. Be careful with this one because it has to be placed exactly as shown on screen. Make this adaptive also. Let's add some color. Select the frame and then over on the Properties palette, find Materials. Click the little button in the By Category box. This will launch the Materials browser. Create a new material and rename it. Then with the new material selected, move across to the right hand side of the browser and find the Appearance tab. Then click the first button on the right called Replace Asset. This takes us to the Asset browser. Under Document Assets, find Appearance Library and expand this list. Then find Metallic Paint and over on the left side of the browser find orange or any color you like. Click the arrows to replace the current asset. Make sure Use Render Appearance is selected. The truss is now orange. Now before loading this family to the host family, just edit the name of family 1. Remember that family 1 is also the name of the host. With that done, we can edit this pattern family to also give it some color. Once open, pick the Family Types button and then create a new material parameter. make sure the parameter type is set to material. Then apply that parameter to each of the solids. Then reload this pattern family back into the adaptive family, which is called Family 5. Once in Family 5, select the pattern family and click on the Edit Type button. Find the material parameter we created and toggle the value to open the material editor. Then choose the Truss material. Also apply this to the zigzag arc solid. With that done, the main Truss adaptive family is complete and we can load it into the host. The point of making the Truss family adaptive is to help place it in the main model, but before we start that process we need to set up the view. Zoom into the target area, set the graphic display to wireframe. Then carefully select the vertical face of the divided surface and click Surface on the ribbon. With that face selected, carefully select the underside of the roof and then click Surface on the ribbon. Now that you can clearly see the host for the adaptive truss, select the vertical face and from the ribbon click Surface Representation, then activate Nodes. Repeat this for the horizontal face. Then from the project browser, find the adaptive truss family, right click and choose Create Instance. Then carefully click to place, remembering the order of the 3 points. Then repeat the process on the opposite side. Then reset the graphics display to shaded view to view the result. Repeat the workflow for each of the remaining sides. Again, this has been sped up to manage the length of the tutorial. To slow it down, toggle the YouTube speed settings. So here we are. The truss has been placed on 3 sides. Next, we have to place the truss on the front elevation, but we can't use Family 5. That's because of this rectangular frame section that's slanted. So we need to create a second adaptive family. To do this, find Family 5 and Edit. Switch to the front view. Now save as. Keeping the same naming convention, we can call this family Family 6. We are going to move the adaptive point 2 to the midpoint of the lower arc, here. In 3D view, select the form and X-ray it. From the draw tools, pick point and snap it on the center point of the divided path. Delete the previous adaptive point 2, then go back and make the point we just created the new point 2. Switch to a front view to check that the point is positioned correctly. Save and then load into project. In the host model, carefully select the slanted rectangular frame and from the ribbon deselect the component button. Then click Surface Representation and activate the nodes. From there, move down to the View control bar and set the graphic display to wireframe. Then carefully select the underside of the roof and divide this surface. Select the curved roof section as shown and turn on the component and the pattern, and also make sure surface is on. Then from the surface representation, turn on the nodes. Select the curved section and the bottom part of the roof and the slanting rectangular frame and isolate elements. Now there is a much clearer representation on screen. I noticed that the flat roof section is missing the nodes, so I activate those. Zoom in a little closer to ensure I can see all target points clearly. Then from the project browser, find the modified Truss adaptive family called Family 6 and start placing this according to the point order. Now to create the perimeter truss that runs along the inside face, for lack of a better description, of the roof, zoom in as shown. Then from the draw tools, pick Reference and the Pick Lines tool. Then find the edge of the roof form and click to offset, and a reference line should appear directly in line with the roof form edge. Then select the roof form edge again and the new reference line and move up to the ribbon to create the form as shown. Next, select the form, then from the ribbon, divide the surface. Edit the grid to reduce the number of U sections. Then apply the pattern. Now that might not have been very clear, so I'll go through it once more, but this time on the other side. Let's zoom into our target area and deselect the pin icon on the selection tools. This will enable the roof to be picked and hidden. Then move back to the selection tools and toggle the pin to lock all pinned elements. Then from the draw tools, click the Pick Lines tool and find the roof form edge. Now repeat the process for each of the remaining sides. We are now close to the end. There is just one more pattern family to create. From the project browser, find Family 1B and click to edit. Switch to wireframe and deselect the pin icon on the selection tools. Then select the perimeter reference planes and create the form. Pick the option on the right, then toggle the graphics display again to view the result. Then save and load into the host. In the host model, zoom into one of the external sides and select the sloping face. Then divide the surface and apply the pattern. Repeat for all sides until complete. Then it's over to Enscape for rendering and animation. That's the end of the tutorial. I hope that you learned something new and found that interesting. If you did, consider subscribing so that you don't miss out on any future content. And I will see you in the next video.